Hi everyone, it's Dasher Dave here again, and I'm back for another crafty video. So this time we're going to make a kind of a snippet roll, but not a snippet roll, if you get my drift. Well, you probably don't, but I'll tell you in a minute. So this is some music paper. So this was sent to me quite a long time ago from her name has slipped my head. I think it's Gail from Wishes and Weeds. And this is music paper. Now, this is not something I've seen in the UK. Well, I have seen it in the UK, but you know what? I've seen it and it's been an absolute fortune. So she sent me this. Now, I'll show you what it is. This is the slip cover. And then inside there is music paper. Now, I've not obviously used any of this, because it was like, it's so precious to me. So I thought, well, if you can't use it, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what they say. So let me just pop that back on there. Oh heck, it's all going Pete Tong now. Okay, so oh heck. Like, I've lived in Yorkshire for nearly 20 years, so I've started saying oh heck. Okay, so that's what the original is. So I've made a mini version. So this is my music roll box, okay? So in here is a music roll journal. So that's like snippet roll, but it's also like a journal. So you could leave it as this and give it to somebody as a journal, and they've got lots of little spaces to journal on, or you could leave it blank, or you could use it as snippet roll or whatever. But we're gonna make the box, and we're gonna make a similar sort of thing. Now, the reason why I did this is because I really wanted to make something spring-like, because I'm feeling, spring colours and all of that, feeling like spring is almost here. It's flipping cold outside, but it's almost here. It looks nice, it's just cold when you go outside. But I also wanted to make something that was a bit different, basically. So this is what we're going to make. So this is to make this particular size. So if you want to make this, then I'll show you how. So you are going to need some cardboard. So this, I've used file folder here. I'm also going to use file folder again. You're going to need file folder for the outside and for the ends of the reels. You're going to need some fairly thin cardboard for the tube, or you can use a tube if you've already got a tube. I didn't, so I made one. And you're going to need some bits of scrap paper, some stamps, and well, you don't need to use stamps if your handwriting is good. You could just write it on. And you're also going to need some paper for the actual roll itself. So I've got some coffee dyed paper. This actually measures 12 inches. I think it's 12 inches. Is it 12? No, maybe not. Maybe not 12. What does it measure, Dave? Oh, it measures 11.5 inches high by another figure. It doesn't matter how long it is, because you can make it as long or as short as you like. It's 16.5. So we're going to use some of this for the roll inside. So let's make the outside first, Dave. So I'm going to use this, which is another file folder that's just been cut down. It's just a red one this time. And you're going to need 2 pieces of paper. Well, so let me just tell you this. So you're going to need 2 pieces of card that, if you have a scoreboard like mine. Now, I know some of you don't have a scoreboard. Before you start saying I don't have a scoreboard, I know some of you don't have a scoreboard, but if you have a scoreboard like mine has one for making boxes. So you've got the lid, which you butt up to this side, and the base that you butt up to this side, and then this first bit here, the base, just accounts for it being slightly smaller so that they sit inside each other nicely. Now, if you don't have that, you're going to need to cut your cardboard a slightly different size. Now, I'm going to tell you, for those people that do have a box base and a box lid size first, because that's what I'm going to do just to make it simpler for me. and quicker for everyone, and hunky-dory for all and sundry involved. So don't even know what I'm talking about. So first of all, let's just cut this down so that it is the right. I'm going to cut the rounded bits off first. I've treated myself to a new blade for my trimmer, so things are now working better. I'm not saying it's perfect, but they're definitely working better. So now I'm going to cut it down to, you're going to need to cut it to, if you've got a box base, box lid style scoreboard, you're going to need to cut it to 10.5 by 6 3/4. Now, if you don't have that, so you're going to need two at 10.5 by 10 and 6 3/4. 10.5 by 6 3/4 twice. If you don't have a scoreboard with a base and a lid, then you will need to cut your card one at 6 3/4 by 10.5, and the other one by 6 and 6 oh god blimey, here we go 6 and whatever they are 16ths of an inch, aren't they? So that's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 6 13/16 by 10 and 9/16. Is that right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Yeah, 9/16. Oh blimey. So it's just because you've got a extra 16th of an inch. So that just means that you'll just have that little bit to play with, but it won't be too wallowy. So I will try to remember to put the sizes in the description, because I confuse myself a lot all the time. So I'm going to cut these both at 10.5 by 6 3/4 because I do have one of those fancy schmancy style paper cut scoreboards. So 6 3/4. So this is you only need those measurements if you're going to make it this size. So let's put that away for the time being. So this will then hold a 2-inch circle, which is the ends of your tube that your snippet roll sits on. So I'm just going to cut those out ready. They are the pieces for inside. So hopefully these are the same size. They are. That's good job. And now I'm going to need my scoreboard. So this is how this scoreboard works. So you do one, so both scoring is done at the same size anyway, whether you're using this scoreboard or doing it yourself. Well, you need to score at 2 1/4. So you go along, so you have it whichever way round, because it's going to be the same measurement all the time. So 2 1/4, so we're going to score there. And then we're going to turn it 90 degrees and do 2 1/4. Then we're going to turn it 90 and do 2 1/4. And then we're going to turn it 90 and do it 2 1/4. Do you get my drift now? Now, if you don't have a scoreboard like mine, then you would just do exactly the same again, because your other piece of paper will be slightly bigger and it will adjust for those different sizes. That means that the base will be slightly smaller than the lid. Okay, but I have a base, one that has a base on it, so I do this, and you'll see how here, I don't know whether you can see, but the numbers go the other way, so it's 1 2 3 4 5 and so on, and I need to do 2 1/4 again here. We'll turn it round and do 2 1/4. Turn it round. It's like being left-handed, or if you were left-handed, being right-handed. You get to see what it feels like on the other side of the fence. Just make sure that was in the right place, Dave. Okay, there we go. So what you will get is these, if you've got a scoreboard like mine, where the score lines just sit inside themselves when you line them up next to each other. Kind of just sit inside one another. So what we're going to do is you just have to remember which is the base and which is the lid. Well, you don't have to, because it'll work itself out in the end. So you just want to cut off the score line at the end. So you're just going to cut from the base up to that first line. Again, on this side. And then you're just going to cut that, snip that little furrow out. So the bit that, the indentation of where you just put a score in, you're just going to cut that out either on both ends. That's that, and we'll do that on the other one. Now, if you're using a file folder, if you don't like the pattern that's on it, sometimes they have printing on the outside, then just use the bit that's without any text on. But I don't mind having a bit of text on it, so you can see there's a bit of text on mine. You know, sometimes I choose to have that on the outside, sometimes I choose to have it on the inside, and I don't mind. So as this one has a little bit here, I didn't worry about it, so it all adds to that kind of utilitarian thing that I like. But you know, if you're not a fan, then you're not a fan, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, and this, by the way, this was all dreamt up because of my migraine. So I have a migraine again. I had a migraine earlier in the month when I was having toothache. You remember when I was having toothache? That was because that turns out to be a new symptom that I have of an oncoming migraine, which is the joy of living joys to have another thing that is like a premonition of my migraine. But it's, you know, just one of those things I can't really do much about. So at least I know now that's what it is. It wasn't anything to do with teeth being bad, just teeth being painful. So I also get aura and nausea on the run up to a migraine. So and then I end up with a migraine for 3 days. So the only benefit to it, well, I don't know if it's a benefit or not, is, for me, it makes my mind think in different ways, and I come up with some of my best work is brought about because of having a migraine. So it feels like it's a bit of a cross to bear, but, you know, it is what it is. Oh, don't keep saying that, Dave. That comes from one of my colleagues' children. They keep saying, it is what it is. And like, then she keeps saying, it is what it is. And now I'm starting to say, it is what it is. So if I annoy you intensely with it, and I sound like I'm a 14-year-old child, it's because I'm quoting a 14-year-old child. So there you go. So that's it. We've scored all those lines in, and all we're going to do is we're just going to assemble this box. So these outer ones, these 4 outer ones, are just the panels for the flaps for making the box. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue, making sure it goes right down that lead edge where the fold is, again on this bit. And then what we're going to do is fold that in and then just line that edge up with the corner, that fold, and then do the same on that side. Line it up. Do the same on all of them, so I will come back to you when I've done all of that. Okay folks, so this is where we are. So this is the box that I have made, so it just sits together like this. Now if you're making it with the scoreboard like I have, this is how it'll be. If you're making it with the sizes where one side of the top is 1/16 of an inch bigger all round, then you will get it like this as well. So that's the box made. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make the tube, and then we'll do all the decorating and all of that at the end. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use some old cardboard that I wouldn't use for anything else. So this is I believe it's 180 GSM. Okay, so I don't know what that is in pounds, but it's, you know, it's whatever it is, it is. So I'm going to cut about 4 inches off the end, and I'm going to cut it then in half. And it doesn't need to be accurate on this bit, because this is the tube that you're going to have in the middle. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take it from a corner, and you're not going to go corner to corner, but you're going to kind of just roll it. Otherwise you'll end up with a very fat bit in the middle and very flimsy bits at the end. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of roll it so that you're going to meet to about here. And so you just want to start the roll. It doesn't matter how thick or thin, whatever you want. I don't like it too thin personally, but kind of going for, I don't know, what's that, about 1/2 inch in diameter. So once you start the roll, okay, then you get to this flag corner here, and you want to just glue that before you finish rolling it. And put a decent amount of glue on it. You want to make sure it holds, but obviously not so much that when you do this, it doesn't all just squeeze out. I mean, you will get some squeezage, as you can see here, but it's not a huge amount. It's not like I've just squeezed all the glue out of it. Okay, now you're going to need to hold it for a bit, because you're going to need it to glue. So, dry, I mean, grab, that's the word. You need it to grab. Okay, so I'm just going to roll it between my fingers now. So, then what you want to do is, once you're at that stage, you just want to snip off these bits here. So you want to snip it to down where this V is here. You just want to snip it to there, and try and snip it with a straighter edge as possible, and then do the same on the other end. Okay, so now we have a tube that is longer than 6 inches, which is what we want it to be. So what we want to do is we want to have, you're going to need to cut 7 inches of it. So the box is 6 inches long, remember that. Okay, so you need the tube to be slightly less than 6 inches. Okay, but we're going to cut it at 7 inches, because then what we're going to do is we're going to cut it so that you've got like the splayed bit at the end where you can glue it to the discs that you've cut. So I'm just going to try and mark at the 7 mark. Doesn't have to be accurate. We're not like looking for, if it's a bit wonky, it's a bit wonky. It is what it is. Shut up, Dave. So I'm just going to snip that bit off. Doesn't matter if it goes a little bit flat when you do that, and if it flips off and goes somewhere else, like mine has, I don't know where it's gone now. So that's that bit. Now we've got a 7-inch tube. Now what you want to do is you want to mark 1/2 inch in from the ends. Well, just a little bit over 1/2 inch. Like we're talking about, like a 1/16 of an inch over 1/2 inch. Turn it round a bit. Do the same again. Do the same again, and keep going until you kind of come back to where you started from. And then hopefully you should be able to just meet it in the, well, join the middle bit up. So now what you want to do is you just want to cut up to that line. So it might be a little bit tough. You might want to get your scissors right in it. Don't go snip all the way up. You want to go up to about that line. You can go a little bit over it, it's fine. Yeah, and then you're going to turn it, and you want to have like a 1/4 inch paddle that you're going to cut. You pull it out, turn it, and do another 1/4 inch. And do it again. Until you kind of meet up with yourself. Okay, I'm just going to cut that one in half. And then do the same again on this end. This one won't be as hard to cut because there won't be as many layers on this end. There we go. So once you've done that, you want to splay these bits out. Now, kind of splay them to about where that line is. You want to bend it just beyond the line. So if the line's there, you want to do it just beyond that line, so that the line is the paddle side of the fold, if you understand what I mean. Because you want to give enough space for that to go on the end of it. Okay, so when you've done that, you'll find that one end has lots of leaves. Now you could glue them all to each other, or like I do, and just snip them off. So snip the ones that you don't need off. Don't snip the ones that you do need. So leave one. So open it out, leave one, and snip the others off. And then open it out, leave one, and snip the others off. So all like that, all the way around. And like, if you're like mine, they'll just fly off into oblivion, and you'll be finding them for decades afterwards. Or you could be a bit more controlled and snip it into a bin or a trash can or whatever it is, wherever you are. Or you could just have confetti like me, and it'll be a joy to find at a later date, a bit like the peanuts that you have after Christmas. So anybody that has salted peanuts or nuts at Christmas, you know, after you've shelled them, or you've been picking up handfuls of them, you'll find those littered around the living room and house and in shoes months after Christmas. So the gift that keeps on giving. So anyway, I'm just going to snip these off because I'm just talking now. I'm just talking for the sake of talking, and nobody wants me to talk for the sake of talking. Right, this one, because it's got a very little one, if I cut that one off, it's going to be a bit little. So I'm just going to glue those two together. Put a bit of glue on there and glue them two together. So now what you want to do is you just want to double check that your folding makes it 6 inches or less, and that it will go in its box. Okay, so if you've got a feeling like I have that might be a bit tight, you just want to have snip one of the ends, probably the one that's easier to fold, a little bit more, so you make it a little bit shorter on that end. So you just want to refold those to where the new cut line is. So there isn't really much science on this, it's just about guesstimating it and getting it right. So hopefully that is more like the size that we need. Yeah, so that's shorter than the 6 inches, that's fine. So as long as it's shorter than the 6 inches, it'll go in the box. If it's bigger than, obviously, by the laws of physics, it won't. So Then you're going to take your circles, and before you do anything with your circles, before I do anything with my circles, I'm going to ink them. Well, I say before I do anything with them. Well, this is something I'm doing with them. I'm just going to ink them down though, just to make them look a little bit more inky. Old is what I meant. This one, for some reason, is much more heavily inked than this one, so I'm just going to go back around this one again. And then I'm just going to do the interior part of that, so I'm just going to get this rich mocha. And just do that over them. Now, I want you to do it now, because you could do it at the end, but you won't be able to get on the inside. Once you've stuck that down, it'll be very hard without ripping off what you've just done. Right, don't want to over wet it, otherwise glue won't stick. So now what we're going to do is we're going to glue all of those little paddles. It looks like a palm tree to me now. And that is going to stick to there. Now, it's going to be a bit of a guesstimation about whether it's in the middle or not, but, you know, like I say, it's not going to be the end of the world if it isn't. So, worry not, my friend, worry not. So pop that on there, try and get it kind of straight, and then you're going to do the other bit on the other side. Do the same and put that in there, and like so, like so. Just stick those little paddles down, try and get it to kind of go. Either that one's got no glue on it, or it's the glue's dried, one of the two. There we go. So, like I say, it's not going to be perfect, but do we care? No. Now, obviously, if you've got pencil marks like mine, you could rub them out, but I'm not going to worry about it. So, that should now fit in there, like so. Okay, so mine's a bit tight, but, you know, you can adjust yours. Give it a squish down. You can kind of make it. You can give it. There you go. It fits in much better now. It's fine. So that one is that's my little roll. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make the snippet bit. Well, it's not really a snippet. It's kind of it's a roll. So this is going. I'm going to fold this in half. Because I know this is less than 12 inches high, I know that it will fit on my roll nicely. So whatever you do, you want to make sure that whatever you're making will fit nicely on your roll. So mine does, tight, but it will fit. So because might be a bit tight, I might just snip a little bit off the end. Let's just make sure that's nice and square first. Yeah, so rather than it being too tight, I might just take maybe like 1/8 of an inch off. Just all the way down. Just make sure then that that's going to sit in that roll nicely. Yeah, it does. That's fine. And then we're just going to cut this in half. Up against that line that I've just folded. Now, obviously, if you don't have paper this wide and you need to just stick lots of pieces of paper together, then that's absolutely fine. There is no right or wrong on this. It's literally just creating. Get the box, you know, the size that you want it to be. Get those dimensions right, get the roll to fit inside, and then you can turn this into whatever you need to turn it into. So I'm going to have that curly end at that end, and I'm just going to glue these two together. And you can make it as long as you like. As long as it fits within your box, that's absolutely fine. So we're going to put that down, stick it together like that. So then, what I did on this one was I made some holes in it. So if you see at the back, I made some holes. Now, you can either choose to have the holes or not have the holes. I put the holes in there to make it look like it was music paper. But if you don't want to have them, you don't need to. There's no right or wrong on this. Just make it. So if you want to make holes, I just used a free punch, as in it's not that it doesn't have an owner. It has an owner. It's just an anywhere punch. So all I did was I just made a few random holes. Now the reason I did this is because I know some of it gets covered up, but I needed some exercise. No, that's not the reason. This is the only exercise I get. It's because the bits that don't have anything stuck to them, you just get to see a little bit of hole, and it just gives it that. For me, I just thought it gave it a bit more of that authenticity, but you know, it doesn't look like music paper, let's face it. The holes aren't in the right places, and it couldn't put it through one of those players and it play anything, I don't think. Got a bit. Oh, there you go. Confetti. More confetti. Yay! Yeah, it wouldn't play, but it might give the illusion to the person of what you were trying to get at and why it was in a box like that. And then you do think to yourself, why did you start doing something like this, Dave? You're not very good at the random, so sometimes just go back and put in a few more things. There we go. And then what I did was I took this end, I took the end that isn't going to get stuck to the roll, and I kind of didn't fold it over, I just held it over, and then I just cut it with like a little tongue shape there, and then curved it round back on itself, and then just finish with a rounded bit of the tip there. And if you just do that, it doesn't actually put a crease in it, it just gives you that lip like you'd feed it into a machine with. So that's that bit, and now we can come to the fun part where we're going to decorate it, but I'm going to be back in a second. So now we're going to decorate it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to decorate it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to decorate it. So all I did was I used some old magazines that I've got. So I've got these. This is some Reader's Digest from the 50s. So 56, I believe, 55, 56, or 54, 55, something like that. And then all I did was I just took some of the nice, so sometimes they have like nice little illustrations in them, and I really didn't want to lose them. And I'm thinking, and I wanted to do something spring-like, and then this kind of made me think of spring. I think 1950s colours really do make you feel a bit spring-like. They're very, those kind of pale, but sometimes quite punchy colours. So anyway, that's where the inspiration for the design came from. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my little tear ruler. So I've got two tear rulers, by the way. So This is another one for you guys out there that say, I don't have a tear ruler, I can't do that, I don't have a tear ruler. Right, you don't need anything that I have. I just have it because I've been doing it so long. So, tear rulers. This is one that was, I didn't have a tear ruler, and then somebody gifted me this because it was a ruler that they didn't want. It was a little bit bent, but you know, it was gifted to me, and it's great. So, it's ages old. Don't know how old it is. And this is one I made myself. And this was literally made by using a pair of pliers and, I'll do it for you guys, taking a little bit on a ruler and snipping it out, just breaking it off. And that's all I did all the way along here, just snipping bits off, making it random. And that way then you have a very randomized tear ruler. So what it does is it just gives you a bit of a different finish. I'm going to try and find a piece of paper. Here we go. And what you'll do is when you tear against it, you get like a random torn edge. And it's just good if you tear against a standard ruler, although you get a torn edge, it's very much more regimented, whereas that's much more uneven. So that's all I did, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the one that I made this time. So you just want to be careful tearing on old paper, that you don't just tear it that way. You want to tear along the bits that you want to tear. So that's what makes it sound very obvious, Dave. You want to tear it on the bits that you want to tear. And if you're tearing, just make sure that wherever you're tearing, so if I'm tearing here, I make sure the pressure is here, and then I move my fingers along, because otherwise it'll just slide out from underneath and it won't tear. So there's that one. I'm not going to worry about it, make a tear in it. I'm not going to worry about that. I want to have more of the pictures. Now, I don't necessarily have much more of the 50s one to do. Let's just have a look and see what else I've got. I want this little picture here, that little picture of fruits. I want that. Just going to tear that up, because I'm going to do this like this, because there might be something on the back I want. This goes all the way. I'm going to tear that one out like that. So tearing the shorter bit and pulling the long bit away is quite difficult, because it can just slip out from underneath. But if you're careful and you do, like I say, you put pressure on the bits that you're tearing from. So if I'm tearing here, my finger shouldn't be down here, otherwise it'll just slip out from underneath the ruler. So you want to put the pressure down wherever the tear is happening. And then we're just going to tear all the bits off that we don't want. Like that. Cool. Let's get rid of bits. Bits can just sit there for now. Otherwise they just get mixed up with everything else. So we're going to have that. We're going to have that. Let's just finish tearing that one down. So obviously use a plastic ruler if you're going to snip bits out. Don't use a metal ruler. Do not snip metal. Metal is painful and dangerous when you've got little bits of shards and stuff. So I'm going to have another lead edge on this, and I'm going to use that. And then I'm just going to go through here and see if there's any other bits of... So there's a Singer Sew machine here, so I'll use that. I know it's a Singer because I used the other piece in the last journal. I'm going to use that bit. Keep all these bits because this is a genuinely old magazine, so all the parts are precious. So I shall keep this bit. Sorry, I shall have this bit. I'll just tear all the bits out that I like. bit. Obviously don't want to keep those bits, then they're not precious to me. I like the colour of that illustration, so see how that slipped out because I wasn't holding it, because I wasn't practicing what I preach. So do as I say, not as I do. And you don't need a huge amount because it's not that long for me anyway. You know, however long you've done yours, don't really want any cigarette stuff in this. It's a bit big. I'd like to keep the whole thing if I could, so I won't use that. Might have to start deploying some other magazines. I think I've kind of exhausted the nice pictures. There's nothing. There's no particular rhyme or reason to these. These aren't like, they're not formulating a story in my head or anything. They're just the pictures that I like. So, and that's all that matters. So, gonna have to get some more of these. Well, that's nice. No, keep it for another thing. I like the comment because it's got seal. Yeah. Ow, 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 ow. Sorry. I should have done a seal warning. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This is a seal warning. It's a seal warning. Let's see what we've got. So, let's do this. This is about. It's about putting fluoride in water, which is still a controversial thing that still happens. I know it certainly happens in the UK. So, but then again, we put vitamins in mineral water that you buy. So, I drink tap water. All the water that I drink is tap water because it's good. It's Yorkshire tap water and it's great. Council pop, as I used to know it. So what we're going to do is see how the colours are like very much of that kind of tone. So this is what I used. I just used some of my pastel pages that have been coffee dyed, and then I didn't put the two colours together. I just tried to make it look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have that on. I might have it so that you can see most of the Reader's Digest. I'll have that, stick that down like that. So because it's on the lead edge, I'm just going to glue it. No, I won't glue it. With that, I will glue it with my stick glue. Now I just need some spare paper. Don't put it on top of the thing that you need to glue, Dave. And then we're just going to glue this. And then anything excess that hangs over the edge we'll just cut off. Now this is the only piece that I'm using, and because it's at the very edge, that's quite thick. Because you want your paper to be quite thin, because it's going to, you need it to roll up. So I'm just going to sit that on there. It says September 1956, so we'll have it so that it's, hopefully you can see that bit. Stick that down, and then I'm just going to use a pair of scissors just to cut that away along the bit that we've made around that corner. So just like I say, this is just something a little bit different. It's just another. Yes, I realise it's not something you can stick in a journal because it's a bit three-dimensional, but it's a journal in its own right. So, use it as such. There we go. So that's our lead edge. Okay, and then we're going to put in a few things. So we might want maybe use that picture next. So all I did was I just went round and tore some panels of journal space that we can utilise, and then kind of just overlap them. Got a raw edge, get rid of that bit. I'll use that as a piece. And then we need our glue page. And then anything where it's, so like this, all I did was I just inked around the edge. Put a bit of dark walnut stain on that bit there. And anything that I wanted to make darker, I just used a bit of whichever this one is, rich mocha. That wasn't fussy. And we'll just go through and make it. So yeah, we'll leave it that way around, and then oh no, not that one. This one, get off me. Yeah, so having a migraine is the result of this is the result of having a migraine, because my brain, honestly, it's really weird. I can't explain it, but my brain just works very differently when I have a migraine. So it's almost like it's a benefit to my creativity, but it's a curse to me because I'm working now with a thumping migraine, like with a bit of lost vision in one eye. But you know what? I'm coming up with some good stuff at the minute, so I'm not gonna halt it. I've always tried to not let my migraine get the better of me. I didn't start getting them until late on in life, so probably about, I don't know what, about maybe 10 years ago. No, not quite that. Maybe 8 years ago is the first time I ever had a migraine. And that's it. Kind of, I didn't know what it was, to be fair. So let's use this piece maybe. And put. Oh no, we're going to use that. So we'll have pink instead. I don't want to put green and green together. It's just a me thing. You do what you want to do. So I think I'll kind of just go through placing them. Oh, that's got a straight edge. Don't want the straight edge. And kind of overlapping them as I go. Having them, not all of them overlapping, but I like a few of them to overlap. So I just scratched my head, and I think my hands are quite dirty. So my forehead is probably quite dirty now. So. Making it up as I go, which is the best way, isn't it? So, when we're crafting, you don't want to be tied by convention. This is why we do junk journaling, because it's very freeing. Well, certainly the reason I do junk journaling, there isn't nobody's got a manual that says, well, I think you'll find there that you have broken every rule, because at the end of the day, there are no rules, and if anybody tells you you're doing it wrong, it's their opinion. It's not a fact. I think think there's a bit of an issue with society these days. Is like people get misconstrued about whether it's a fact or an opinion. So they go around spouting their opinions, thinking that they are facts, but they are not. And everybody should be free to be. Free to be. So what else have we got? Oh, we've got that, which is nice. So we'll have, maybe it's because shh, Dave. I'm not a Londoner, so maybe it's because I am a seal. Oh, shut up, Dave. Shut up, Dave. No seal warnings were happening. I'm sorry, I'm off piste. It's my crazy. I'm channeling my crazy. So. Maisie Dotes and Dozy Dotes and little Lumsy Divey, a kiddly divey too, wouldn't you? I wouldn't eat ivy personally, so please don't eat ivy. I know there's a thing called poison ivy in America. You don't get poison ivy here, by the way, just to let you know. And we don't have snakes here either. So, well, we do. There's one. It's called an adder. It's not harmful. I was going to say benign, but that's what tumours are. I don't know what the non-harmful thing is for an animal, but it's it's not deadly. It's an adder. I think it can do subtractions if you ask nicely. Let's use this. There's a lot of erming going on, Dave. Just call me Ermingtrude. Oh no, can't use that because that's that colour. Can't have that, Dave. Don't put those two together. Now is the time to deploy the green because you've got a bit of separation. So what should we have? How should we have this? What have we got? Oh, let's do an upper panel there. Is that a bit long? Let's see if we go about there and maybe have this. And have that maybe overlapping that. Oh, that's good. Yep, I like that. I can't think what I was talking about. It's probably because it was it was insignificant is what I was thinking, but I know what I was talking about now. It's snakes. We don't have any deadly spiders either. All the reasons to come to the UK. The only thing the reason why we don't have anything deadly is because it's too bloody cold. So, you know. One of those things. It's not that cold in the summer anyway, so well, it is. It's not tropical here. We do have sometimes we have nice summer. Other times we don't. But it's the gauntlet that we run. Don't run with knives, but we'll run with gauntlets. Shut up, Dave. Honestly, I must drive people insane. So, what else are we going to do? Let's put that on. I think. Oh, let's do. Should we go for a darker edge? No, let's go for a lighter edge this time. I might even go into the picture itself, so across just a light daubing. Yep. That on there like that. Dave, you keep moving that away when you need it. Stop it. Stop it. There we go. Nope. There we go. What else have we got that we want to put on there? Oh, we wanted to have that picture on, didn't we? Well, that kind of tonally goes with that, so we'll do that. I know it's got a little bit of green in it, and I maybe shouldn't have had the two together, but hey. Yep, get rid of that. Might go for a darker edge on this one. Make it stand out a bit. Because it's quite plain, it's not like a very busy picture. So today, by the way, is Sunday. So Sunday I'll tell you in a second. Come on. Sunday the 14th of April. Why didn't I know that? It's payday tomorrow. How the heck did I not know that? I did know that. I knew it was payday. And I always get paid on the 15th, so of every month. So I should have known, but I didn't. It was perhaps not just in the forefront of my mind. Maybe I'm trying to block out that I've got to pay all my bills. So let's have that there. We'll glue that. Don't rip that any more than it is, Dave. And put that there. And then we'll have... Is this the time to get the yellow out? Yes, I think this is. Where's the ruler gone, Dave? What have you done with the ruler? What on earth have you done? Oh, it's there. It's there, Dave. Right, how big do we want this? Not that big, Dave. Not that big. Let's try ripping a bit off. Let's try doing that. Let's see how we go. So maybe have that like that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's give it a softer colour on the edge. Just because then it isn't competing with the picture that above it, so it's just a nice addition. Oh no, don't move that out of the way, Dave, because you need it for the glue. Pop that on there. Just touching. There we go. So that's another little... Did we get all of those colours on there? Did we? We didn't. I don't think we had one of that. We didn't have any of this. Do I want any of this somewhere? No, I think it's too punchy, that one. We got some blue on it though. That's fine. Get rid of those. Get rid of that. Move those off to one side and get rid of that piece there. Okay, so now what we've got is we've got this snippet roll. Well, it's not a snippet roll, but we're going to glue it to there. So let's cover that up, Dave, otherwise that's going to go wrong. And cover that one up as well. That'll go wrong otherwise. So hopefully that's not gone solid in the end, which it hasn't. And we're just going to glue on that very edge a decent amount because I want it to kind of stick. So I've got like maybe a 1/4 of an inch lip on that. And I'm just going to stick that on there. Make sure it sticks down, and then while that's gluing, because we want this to kind of dry a little before we roll it up, otherwise it'll all stick to itself. While that's doing, what we'll do is we'll do something with this. So I'm just going to go around all of these edges. Is this the top? Which is the lid? That's the lid. Right, okay. So let's put it together, actually, and we'll do all of these first. Go around all of these edges. A little bit of ink. Just making sure that we've got like a, it look, you know, just makes it look a bit old, doesn't it? So and I didn't do it on the last one, but I think I'm going to put a thumb notch in this one, which I didn't do. So I've done that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thumb notch it. So just take that apart. That just makes it easier to take apart that way. So I'll just do thumb notch roughly in the middle. That just nearly went in my mouth. Like that's not, maybe not on the, in the same, exact same place both sides, but it'll do. It's fine. It's spring. Everything's fine in spring. When the sun starts coming out, it's just lovely. It makes you feel good. And I'm feeling good. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. Yeah, don't, Dave. Don't do that, Dave. So that's going to stay like that. What we want to do is I want to ink this a little. Oh, don't, Dave. Don't move that one like that, Dave. I'm just going to just roughly go over it. Give it a bit of patina. Not Patina Turner. No bush silly lips. Yeah, Dave, shut up. Shut up, Dave. Annoying, I know, but you know, hey, like I always say, you don't have to live with me, so just be grateful. So. Luckily, nobody has to live with me. The people that come here choose to come here. I don't know why. Of their own volition, I don't know. Don't ask me. You'll have to ask Brian and Vic why they choose to spend any time with me. So that's that. Just giving it a bit more patina, and I'm just going to do the same on the bottom of this one. Not going to do the inner bit, you know me. I like the authenticity of the fact that the insides might not have been... Well, it would have probably spent most of its life closed. Just put a little bit in that thumb notch. There we go. That way then you get that little shape there. I might just bleed that a little. Same on that side. Maybe just a bit of on there. Tiny bit on the edges. Just for the authenticity of the trapped dust in those corners. No, that's not the lid for that, Dave. So, what I did do off camera, I know this is cheating, but here's some I made earlier. I made myself some stickers for, not stickers, but some labels for it. So I'm going to put that label on the edge of there, on that end. I'm going to stick that down. I'm going to use some wet glue for that. And I've already rolled the corners to make it look a bit old looking. You know I love making a box, so like I was in my element at this. So stick that on there, my little rolled corner. And then I've made my seal, which is going to go on the side. Arr, 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 arr. Just for those that came for the seal. And then we're just going to roll this up. Now, this might be a little bit too wet still, but we'll see. Now, what will happen is when you roll it up first time, is you roll it up nice and tight, like so. you'll find it a bit stiff on the thicker bits edge here, so like on that end bit. But we'll roll it up. Okay, I'm going to pop it in the base, and then it'll all unravel itself a little bit like that. But that is absolutely fine. You can move it round till it kind of has something that makes you feel like you need to interact with it. Pop the lid on. Stick the seal on. I'm going to stick the seal here. Stop it, Dave. So we're going to put this here. I'm going to put it on like that. I'm going to denote where the crease is. Oh, blimey, that was like folded right in half, Dave. And we're going to put this on here and put this glued on here. And we're going to stick it on there. I'll stick it down. We might just scratch the corner back a bit. Put a bit of ink on there just to make it more authentic. There we go. And then we're going to open that seal up. No seal operations going on here. Operation Seal. Sounds like a military thing, doesn't it? So I'm using the back of my blade, because then it gives it it doesn't give it a straight edge, then it gives it like a broken edge, and we can just go in there with our bit of ink for a bit more authenticity. And there we go, there we have it. That is Bob and your uncle. So there we go, we've got another one. That's one, and then this one is the one we made together. Open it out, and then you've got this little journal roll. And obviously you can keep going because you've got plenty of space on there, and it won't unfurl any more than the box will allow it to, so you can just keep going. So, you know, you could even, now I've done that, I could even go, well, you know what, I'm going to extend it and cut it and extend a bit more and add a bit more. You could actually have it as like a life journal, and you could give somebody like pieces of pages, and you could have them for, you know, months of the year or years of their life or whatever. So the world is your oyster. So it's your oyster at the minute, because I'm feeling rich because it's payday tomorrow. So pop that in there, all in curly furly. There we go. Pop that on like that, and we've got a stack of them now. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget, please give this a thumbs up if you did, if you think it was something that was right up your street, or right up your friend's street, or you fancy giving that a go. And you know, my name is Dash of Dave, and I love you all without exception until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to. And I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for everybody that has been here, stayed here, supported me, stayed to the end, watched it all the way through, you know, found something out new, told me something new. Thank you. Thank you. So I didn't use those bits, did I? I'll keep them for the next one. All right then. Thank you very much, folks. See you soon. Lots of love. Lots of hugs. Lots of seal. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.